Three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Good, I noticed from beginning. So yeah, today I will talking about how to draw 2-point perspective inside 5-point perspective. And maybe it sounds kind of weird. It's like it's 5-point, why it's 2-point here, right? But you see, like most of the time we see examples of a 5-point perspective used as a 1-point perspective. So when we have like vanishing point in the center, so basically it works as a 1-point perspective with a curvilinear, with a curvature for y and x axis. So, but it's not always when you need to draw it this way. Sometimes like you draw, maybe like you want to draw street or building which is standing like corner facing to you, not front but corner kind of, right? So you can stay like in the corner on of a street, or some building standing in front of you like perfectly kind of, let's say, corner. But and how you will draw it, interestingly, you already should be able to figure it out from watching my previous tutorials. This kind of what I call perspective IQ. Just made up this term. So perspective IQ, it means like more you practice, exercise foundational principles from perspective, you start to better feel it, and like you develop certain perspective intuition. So then you start to see how to apply basic principles to draw something more unusual, or something like you can find examples for it, but now using principles, understanding logic, you can't just make it yourself. You can figure out how it's possible, how it works. So in my tutorial, I was talking about how to rotate in a 5-point perspective, and it basically covers all this, like how to kind of rotate camera inside 5-point perspective. But for newcomers or whatever, let's just make tutorial just speaking directly about drawing cases, like when we have 5-point perspective and we want to draw kind of like a corner instead of front object or a scene. Так, yeah, also want to mention I try in here new design. So here, how to show what? Yeah, so here you see my progress bar on the corner showing how many members on the channel. It's right now it's actually 21 member. I don't know why it's not work, so it's just testing. So I want to get like 100 members, so you can become member of this channel. And also it's kind of reason for this tutorial today, because I see in Discord, in my Discord, European 153, he today show his drawing of a street with like kind of fisheye angle. And I think like it's look nice, it's interesting, but I also find it interesting just to make tutorial explaining how to draw this view if you want to draw it properly, like following perspective principles without breaking them, right? So then also here on so you can show your works in my Discord, and I give a lot of feedback if you ask. Sometimes if you not ask, I still will give feedback. Kind of, I just like talking about drawing, so don't be shy, kind of. And it's just kind of in general, you can understand, like if you became member, like it shows you really care and support my work. So I will more feel kind of um, to give back to you. But in general, still I write a lot in the comments. So, and here also on the bottom, I try this widget. It will be now here in the corner, like everybody when they donate during stream, like super chat or thanks, kind of we should some coin flying kind of there. So I don't know, let's try see how it works. Okay, so what is first, again, it's always you need to recap and refresh your understanding of perspective, right? So 5-point perspective, it's about this z vanishing point in the center, and then we have on an equal distance from center, we have x vanishing point on the left and x vanishing point on the right. On the same distance, we have y vanishing point on the top, y vanishing point on the bottom. So on the top it's called zenith, and the bottom called nadir. So, and here we have kind of this middle points, right? So this middle point, they stand for 45 degree. So we have like 45 degree to left, and we have 45 degree to right. We have 45 degree vertically, and 45 degree vertically below horizon line. Yeah, also this line, it's horizon line. So all this, it's 2D projection, 2D kind of illustration of actually 3D sphere of our field of vision. It's like we draw in Earth map, like a Google map, you know, or some kind of like flat map of a world. It's a flat projection of a kind of round planet, right? So, and there is like it's interesting because there is different versions how you calculate, how you kind of calculate this projection. So it can be like different distortions, because practically you cannot do it right. It always will be distortions. But there's like we have mainstream version of projection, and then in perspective, like in visual art, in like yeah, on all this how we see images in the movies and animation and drawings, it's kind of convention, mainstream convention. It's to see 3D space or the visual sphere to be projected in this way. So it's kind of made up thing, I think, which is kind of nice to have clear idea of it. So hello, learn 3D animation. Hello. Так, so, and yeah, it's kind of this visual sphere. It means like you kind of viewer standing here in the center, right? You, or it can be camera, right? So you, your own kind of center of your between your eyes, and here is like we have in the front this z, then we have in the back z, we have in the top y zenith, we have on the bottom y zenith, oh nadir, and then on the left is left x, on the right is right x. So this your eye level or camera level, it will be this kind of belt which stands for horizon line. So, and then we have like, so this y vanishing point is kind of like right above you, right? Same with the y vanishing point, which is right below you. And the x left, x right, they like, say like 90 degree to z, okay? Oh, kind of we can see, so it's like, if we look from top down, this 90-degree between left and front, right? Same like left and back, same kind of like 90-degree. So then we will have this kind of vertical belt, and we have this kind of perpendicular vertical belt. So usually, like when we draw 5-point perspective, we just draw in. Okay, well. So this is projection of this front half of this sphere. So yeah, because it's kind of interesting. Let's say right now you or this observer or a camera standing in inside some kind of room. It's like box space, right? So, and this sides of this space parallel to your z-axis. So it's this axis going front and back through your vision. Same like same direction, parallel with the sides of this space, right? So так, so in a projection, this kind of like point of view, POV of this viewer, we will see this space in this manner, right? So we see this typical 5-point perspective curved space. But what if this space is like not parallel to your z, but actually it's like 45 angle? So let's say, let's look at what colors. This is blue. So now let's say this like this, like this room this way. So when you look front, it's hard to draw this. Kind of like this. So z now. So when you look straight now, you will just see corner of this box, corner of this space, this box, which inside which you are standing now, right? So it will look как у Apache. So to show this angle, we need to have this like 45 angle perspective grid. So let's first I kind of make a quick demonstration. So now POV of this 45 angle rotated room, we will see this space like this. So, and here I explain why. So let's see, you can see. Yeah. So this 5-point perspective grid, and we have this 45 left and right in the middle. So this 45, it's kind of actually, it's like if we take X vanishing point from left and we move it here. So now we have this like X, let's say 45. And then we take also Z vanishing point and move it here. So it's Z 45. So they will work not like 2X vanishing point. No, they work like X and Z. So it's just like from center move. You can consider it an opposite way too. You can say this is like Z move to left and X move to left. What is important here is to remember this pattern, because like if normal, you see this 5-point perspective, we have this pattern. And I hear this Z-axis. Then here in this like two vanishing points within 5-point perspective, we will have like this. So let's say this X45 still will have this curvature, right? Like we have in original normal perspective grid. But then it's kind of like here we have X going from left X to right X, right? Same here, this X45 want to go to X, which is a move now, right? But it's outside of a field of view. So kind of, let's say, yeah, you can consider it, at least you need to know it goes here, right? It's go to new place for this X. Usually just it stay outside of picture plane. So let me show with picture. Because it's little complicated how to calculate position of this vanishing point. Simple version, it's like here we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters between left X vanishing point and right vanishing X vanishing point, right? So when you move from X45, you need also consider 1, 2, 3, and then fourth, right? So it's kind of same kind of, you keep in mind 4 quarters between left and right X, but it's not, it will be not absolutely correct, but just keep it in mind, because when you actually will draw, you see you have this 5-point perspective grid within your picture, right? So you draw a certain picture. So now you see this X will be somewhere outside of picture plane. So basically what happened, what you just need to keep in mind, that this curvature is going to this vanishing point. This is kind of its direction of this curvature. And what is important also, like in like when we have in usual version of this 5-point perspective grid, we have this center point, like in the middle between left and right X vanishing point. It's like 2 quarters, right? So same here for this one. So like we have 1, 2 quarters. So right above this Z45, curvature of this X45 axis, it's kind of should be like a farthest point, right? So we have like, if arc go like this, so here will be like peak of this arc. And again, like ideally just keep it in mind, but practically you can always be loose with this and don't need to be like so strict. So this kind of pattern, and then you can just draw in between, and then here, like I always show how to draw perspective grid, you see we have this curvature going like through y vanishing point, right? So here you have this curvature, here you have horizon line, and then you just draw in between. Then again you have this and have horizon line, you draw in between. You have this, draw in between. So this will be like a perspective grid for 45 angle, like a 2-point perspective. Same you just do for this Z45. Same, it's like going about here. So what is good news for artists? It's like it's very forgiving to draw it. It seems like scary and like complicated, like you really worry about make it correct. But you can make it like all a little wrong and nobody will notice. Important is just don't break the principles. So follow these principles, like this one, right? So we have this horizon line, and we have this curvature going here from this vanishing point to through y vanishing point, right? Again, curvature, horizon line, transition, right? So now you just do this transition. You can do whatever. So it's very easy to draw just when you understand behavior of curvature. Once, if you don't understand, you will just like draw random curvature. Yeah, it's you will lost whole point. Так. So same here, in between. So this kind of perspective grid, 5.2 point perspective, kind of. So that's why we have this view here, right? So this is like 1 point, and this is like 2 point. But you see, no, let me finish here this one, right? So like this. Let's finish this one first. Okay. Так, so let's color. So you see, we can draw like we have space, but there are also objects in a space, and not every object parallel to space, right? So it's like you standing and you parallel with the space, so it's like walls parallel to my z axis, my direction, like yeah, laser of vision kind of. So but there is some objects like a table or chair, standing like 45 degree, right? So it's like a room. Here is me, and here is this like a table or box 45 degree, not parallel to me or not parallel to room. So let's say here, right? So now I know how to, if I want, I can add this perspective grid for this object alone. And what is again good news, you don't need to always draw all perspective grid, you just need to understand how it works. And with after some practice you will just see these lines, like, you know, like a Robocop or Neo. So now you can have this kind of, let's say, so let's say here have this box. Okay, so this box here is 45. So room itself is just kind of in front, and this box is 45 angle. But here we have room is a 45 angle, but we can draw box in like a parallel to line of sight, right? So in this will be like typical 5-point perspective, which is like already everybody draws so much, so it's kind of default. It's already became default stuff to draw. Kind of this box. Yeah. And now let's draw some picture with a street. Right. Let's just break it with some funny video.
Who are you?
Bond. Jim Bond.
So what is also interesting about this any perspective grids in a 5-point perspective grid too, it's you can squeeze it, you can kind of distort it, so, which is very, very convenient for drawing illustrations. Let's say, let's draw some example. And what is also make it special to like be able to draw perspective freehand without using all these tools like in the Procreate or something. Just use your hands and you can do whatever you want. So let's say here we have horizon line. Here we have left X, right X. Here. Why? Okay, so yeah, this one is like a little squeeze. You see, it's not exactly circle. It's like a lemon. And it still will works. So here will be my like 45 points. And here is the vanishing point. Так. So here, let's see, for example, you can even experiment, make it more extreme. So here is like YY, etc. Or let's say it can be not very symmetrical. It's like distorted. So it like at certain point it will start look wrong, and I recommend just experiment to see how much you can distort it, because this kind of experiments is what really give you real understanding. So you really will able to, you will have like actual control over it, not be like restrained by perspectives, like, oh, perspective, but just say like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can like turn it any way I want. Так. So, and also this kind of moment here, which I covered before in the previous tutorials, is like when we go a little outside of perspective grid, it start to look like this. So it's already like 6-point perspective, because here we have this some space, right? So you add curvature this way. This in my video, like perspective for beginners part 2. Or tutorials like 6-point perspective. So I recommend to watch. Так, so now we put this 45 angle stuff. So here's this curvature, right? In between. Whoop, 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 whoop. Same here. Go like that. Same straight curve in between. So I just like emphasize it again for you, and also follow my sequence, because this how you really will best to remember it. If you practice in a certain sequence and you explain yourself why you draw it this way. So here straight, here curve, rated root. Okay. Some more. So here is our 45. But also what interesting, right? Let's say So if here is a 45 in the middle, right? In the, like between, in the middle between X and Z, you can make a little different angle, not only 45, can be like 22 and a half or 10 angle, whatever. What notice here, right? It's a symmetry. You moving around this symmetry, like basically what is happen, it's like here I draw you top view, right? So this top view, it's Z axis, and here it's X axis looking to left, right? So we have this 90-degree in between X and Z. So when I draw 45, I have this like 90-degree. So here is X, here is Z, right? So now we have like 90-degree like this. So it's like in 2-point perspectives, kind of like divided it perfectly in a 45, 45, right? So we have like straight line here, and then here we have 45, and here we have 45. So like this one, right? So this straight line, then this here it's a 45 angle. Same here, it's like this straight line going to this Z 45. It's a 45 angle. Okay. So basically, I can turn it more left or turn it more right. So it still will be like between Z and X vanishing point, still will be 90-degree, but it will be no more like symmetry like this. So let's say here. So if I kind of rotate more to left, kind of, so this can be something like this. So like if here we have like 2 and 2, here will be like now like 3 and 1 ratio, right? So here will be like 60 something, and here will be like 22 and a half, right? Oh, just like no numbers, forget. So anyway, it's just like you take this 45 and like right, and in a projection it's look not is this from top view is look like straight lines. In projection it will look like curved, right? So here let's see, like if I make here, right, so I need to have same distance. So let's say like from this X, instead of half instead of drawing it in the middle, I draw it like here, like a quarter before Z vanishing point. So then I also move Z vanishing point on the same quarter. So now we have this situation. So it will be just, instead of 45, we have like this here. It's like 45. Yeah, it's like brain already broken. Yeah, it's like 62 and a half, kind of this angle. So let's say, so this corner, And again, like if you want these details, watch also tutorial how to rotate in 5-point perspective, like very good tutorial. And I'm both here, let's see, like this. So it's still kind of this same concept of a 2-point perspective. So I hope it's clear. Like write me in the comments. Today's wild tutorial. Так, so let's make here one more. And you know, can do so many funny variations of it because you can tilt whole perspective structure. So kind of like tilt 5-point perspective. It's funny, like you know, like when you really do this and you show people what you can draw with just like tilting perspective grid, it blows people's mind. They look like, oh no way! Like it's like in a second from like medium level, you became like super master for them. Just because just because it tilt perspective grid, you know. So here's like we have this, but now it's tilted. So we'll see if we have time. I will also make this demonstration. But here I show you is like little squeeze like vertically. So it's same 5-point perspective grid, but I squeeze it now. I have like vertically standing lemon. Hello, hungry cyclostomos. Hungry cyclostom. Так, то вот там. So here's like 45. Then I make X going outside. And Y going outside. And here is the axis. So here's a squeezed perspective grid. Now let's put 45 vanishing points. Так, so here horizon line. This horizon line. Oop. Horizon line curve in between. Oop. Same here. Y going through this, and then whoop, 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 whoop. Here horizon line, y-axis, no, curve, straight, transition, whoop, and subdivide. Here again you see curve straight in between. So you can just keep subdividing it until it's became a line with horizon line. Так, so now let's just like use some imagination. Look what we can draw in this perspective. And yeah, became a member, we need to make 100 members on this channel and drop some tips because we need to see animation for this jar. Need to test some super chat or super thanks, however. Так. This pencil. Erase much. So let's make it like corner of a street. Так. So here would be. Follow my operate. Hello, Team Rudiger. Так, so here some building. Here will be like pedestrian wall. So then here is like a zebra. And other side. Так. So I see like y-axis is still remain from this default 5 perspective grid. So it's here. Here's this my y-axis. Так. Almost make a mistake. Almost. We can here. So here also zebra. It's kind of crazy, like surreal scene. Not often you will need this, but it's fun. So let's say we have this street 45 angle here. So it's like you're standing, looking to corner, right? But here maybe like a car going into making turn, right? So and this car will be following 5-point perspective grid without so it will be parallel to our view. Так, let's see. Why? No, wow. Так. It's kind of so here my y-axis X. Over here. Second of this. Так. Or X axis go like that. X. Craziest thing here happen with the y-axis. So also draw like a flying car here. Так. Так. Let's make one more house here. Yeah. Let's do one more here. Also, same kind of street corner. Так. Так. So let's start with a car this time. Some kind of box. Because like I want to start from a car because this way I can draw better proportions. Because here's like buildings too small, and I don't want to draw too small cars. You know, that's why it's look little silly. Silly cars. Like this. So here, driver, some people like, whoa. It's like cyber pirates, cyberpunk pirates, or just cyberpunks, maybe. So, okay, so this kind of car going, making turn, and here will be building here. Let's say So then here's a zebra. To draw some people, some more pedestrians. Just like crazy, crazy drivers. Zebra. Yeah, I need to some chasing. So here we have like police chasing them. Here. Maybe even like a flying. Yeah, let's make here some flying stuff. This cyberpunk flying vehicle. Yeah, that was it. Can be some bridges, and we can add more details. So this car going to this Z vanishing point and following this X vanishing points. Let them be actually robots. So, cyborg punks. Так, here funny stuff is it over. Hello, Malay. Так, so zebra marks. Hola, Priscilla Betty. Some kind of I can draw like patches on a road. Так. This kind of stuff like marks on a road. You always think about them. They should be like add something to composition, like dynamism or some interesting rhythms. It's kind of funny angle. Так. Так. Let's make here this like lines for create rhythm. Так, so then zebra. Some dudes like, oh, crazy, crazy driver. Been shopping. Oh no, my cappuccino. Need some music for this. Так. Where's music? Так, music. the some quotes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what also interesting here is like you don't need always make it so extreme. Yeah, I still have time. I will show you example like can make it more moderate kind of. So uh, when you understand perspective, so you have a lot of freedom to play around with this. Which is kind of like a point here. It's to weaponize you as artist, right? So you will have all this complex language, your like high intellect, to be able generate images in a different type of perspective, right? So which is very cool skill for comic book artist, for animator. So kind of practice it, study it to put to kind of this stage when you feel like you confident enough. You will never be perfect in any aspect of art. You will always feel like there is something need to be improved, but at certain point you can say, yeah, this is like really good enough for me, so I can focus more on composition or storytelling, you know, or just kind of like you will have more time to work on your actual projects, like, you know, like all these super professionals do. Like you look like Iron Blaze, like how he draw characters, animals, all this stuff. Uh, you don't see the struggle of beginner artist. He just work on his ideas directly, right? Let's see here. So, and I think it's just inevitable. Like unless you practice enough to get this point when you're fluent with essentials, um, you cannot skip it. Anyway, you will need to kind of find some time to make exercise, to make practice. Так, okay, let's see. Let's try to take this part. Так. So let's make perspective grid, but just don't put vanishing points so close. So let's say Так. Yeah, let's tilt it this time. Like this. So my y vanishing point is outside and x vanishing points, they're also outside. So here is z. And so x will be outside somewhere here. Like even if I have space here, but I will not draw them, I just manage to draw without having vanishing points. So this is still 5-point perspective grid. Так, so let's say like this. Okay, so it's 5-point perspective grid, but we don't have kind of this whole structure inside picture frame. So this will look some kind of this, right? So it's y, x, x, z, and like my picture is some kind of here, right? So it's still 5-point perspective, but different scale of perspective grids. Так, so then let's see where will be 45 points. So again, like I just think, okay, this seems like this middle kind of for the x 45, and so then about here will be this z 45, yeah. So here I draw kind of this curved line to y vanishing points. Remember, like how we draw it? Have this 45, then you draw curved line to y vanishing points. Then I have horizon line, and then I draw this curvature. Okay, then I have this horizon line here, and I draw curvature here. So it's horizon line here, and this. So I can draw some more. Same here, right? Like, where is my y vanishing point? I follow in this direction of y axis. This y axis, they showing me where is y vanishing point. They're pointing towards y vanishing point, right? So if I have point here and I want to draw 2y vanishing point, all I need is just maintain this ratio kind of. Like you see, kind of like if I draw perspective grid, like when I show you before, remember? So it's like you have one line, you have other line. Now you just draw like a transition from this curve to this curve. And this how you build perspective grid, no matter what kind of is linear or curvilinear. So here, right, I have this. Here we have this line going to y vanishing point. Then we have horizon line. Then we have this whoop. And from bottom here, whoop. And this same here. Then we have horizon line, curve here, horizon line this, and this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. So absolutely like same elements, absolutely same structure. But you see, it's already very different situation for your picture. Так, I don't know. Let's again just see how it will look. It's the same kind of case. So we have kind of this bar here. Here like this. Так. Let's see. Here kind of. And again, we need some music. 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 Yeah, music makes it funnier to draw. Так. Three. Let's try. Kind of improvising. Let's see. Here can make like a bridge. Так, some kind of yeah, this kind of improvisations funny to do. Let's try this. Так, so kind of this. Let's maybe make some action lines, kind of some clouds here. So you see, kind of like this is just improvisation to show what kind of composition you can make and how it works in perspective. Так, let's see. People erase here. Yeah, well, like cyberpunk environments, you can just play around with the rhythms, like making music. Oh yeah. Так. So here, quick way to make Noten. Just use ink melted in water. So I kind of like premix some water with Chinese ink, just like any average ink for artist. It's not water resistant, just kind of normal ink. So you can play around with looking like how to arrange lights and darks. This dark. Kind of this. So let's keep it here on this stage. So, and this what I've been also demonstrating today. Hope it been helpful for you. Let me know. See you next video. Yeah, also became member of this of this channel. All right. Так. О, Right. Так. I'm still here.